So welcome to your reading. I've laid your cards already to see if you want to stay around. It's an extraordinary movement towards a rebirth, is what I'm seeing in your cards. Going from a position of calm and healing into one of utter clarity and a restart via some different energies. So if that feels like where you're at, or that you might get something out of that, more will come to light as I read. I don't want to pre-read, if you see what I mean. But anyway, let's dive in. So your interior world. The Page of Cups. I love this depiction. She's so sort of whimsical. She looks like a sort of 1930s authoress to me today. A Mitford sister, or a sort of Virginia Woolf. Yeah, Virginia Woolf, maybe. That sort of idea of being completely enamoured with some new, imaginative, rather novel way of expressing herself. It sort of excludes everyone else. She's not really taking anyone else into consideration here, in a way. It's very young, and it's inside her heart. So, but it's imaginative. So it's like something's woken up in you that's very imaginative, very surreal in a way. Having this little conversation with the fish. And I don't know why I'm thinking about authoress as maybe someone is a writer and you've got a new way of expressing yourself, or a poet, or an artist or something. But it feels quite avant-garde. It feels new and different, and you don't care what anyone else thinks. You're really focused in on it. That's beautiful. Or something in your heart that's just woken up in that way, and you're quite comfortable to be sort of different than everyone else with it. How this makes you act on the outside is the star. It's a very different illustration of the star, this one, from the Rider-Waite. So the Rider-Waite, we have the woman who's naked, pouring water onto the soil and water into a pool. She's got a little ibis bird behind her, a little pink bird in a tree, and she's got the star above her, her North Star, and all the star, and then stars around that, as if she's so undefended that she is able now to focus on what it is she needs to do to get her life in order to be the life that is her North Star life. Here, yeah, she's naked, I suppose, and there is this big building behind her, but she's sort of not. It's strange how today she's seeming not so large in the picture, whereas the traditional star is huge, and she's sort of pensively looking off to one side. She's got wings, so there's something kind of magical about her, and there's this kind of Taj Mahal-like situation. But I think what's interesting about this illustration is it really kind of nods to the fact that the star comes after the tower. So there is this kind of dark, shadowy kind of reality that she's sitting on, and she's kind of dreaming up the Taj Mahal. So it's as if something was on shaky foundations before, and she has healed, because the star allows you to heal after some short sharp shock. But it's now that she's still slightly aware of it here, because we've got that dark kind of shadow that she's sitting on, but she is dreaming up something wonderful. So both of them look quite sort of imaginative, withdrawn in a way. Because normally the Page of Cups would be sort of offering his cup and all excited. And I see these energies that are quite sort of in their own space. And it could be because there's been a tower moment for you recently, or things haven't been as you want them to be. So there's a kind of retreat, but it's a lovely, fresh, healing energy that you're bringing in. So it's absolutely beautiful. And it is trying to align to what it is that's going to make you most happy in the world. At the basis of the reading, we've got the Hangman. Those colours go so perfectly with that spring tree, green tree. I mean, I think we're almost in summertime coming up to, but, we're obviously, feels very spring-like, those greens. So something, as a basis of the reading, because I'm seeing it matching that tree, it feels as if something has unfurled and become a bit clearer to you over the spring season. We can see that even the sky looks quite similar, doesn't it, with those clouds? How curious! God, that matches perfectly. And my jacket, how strange. So something has become revealed to you over the spring period, I would think, that feels as if some new, rather lovely Simpson-esque cloudy sky. The Simpsons, it's always those big sort of scudding clouds. Something, so if I'm thinking of the Simpsons, something humorous, something light, something a little, so the Simpsons are always foretelling things, aren't they, if you believe those memes, and I think they are true. So something humorous and light that foretells something, and it's been revealed by a period of pause, which would be totally understandable if you've got the star, which means there's been a tower moment. So a sort of pause and a recalibration, and over the spring something's starting to feel rather clear and beautiful. But actually where she is in those trees with all those birds and her pretty dress is pretty lovely as well. So Odin hanging upside down is usually what we see, and he has to give something away in order to gain his enlightenment. I don't see what it is she would be giving away. She's got little ballet pumps, but it's so strange because it's such a quaint and old-fashioned image, and yet the zip is very modern, isn't it? I love it. So something of modernity, of the future, is being revealed through this period of meditation, as you've been meditating on that fish in the cup. So it is almost like what we're looking at is your imagination is so fertile and fresh that it's showing you something a little bit prescient, as if you're seeing something, because I'm thinking of The Simpsons, seeing something that could come true or that could be very, very good for you. It just feels like a very happy hangman, to be honest. I mean, I love the hangman anyway, but this one is lush and lovely. So a period of this beautiful contemplation, and it's going to give way to some really fresh perspectives, which is wonderful. I'm just going to pause for a moment because I don't want my neighbour looking up. Oh, it's fine, she's getting into her car. And in the recent past, we see you as the Four of Swords, which is, again, this rest and recalibration energy. I think you're so sort of bursting with life after this reset. So usually we see the soldier resting in the church with these swords that indicate they're coming down to him on top of his different chakras. And there's one that aligns to his whole base chakra, so it feels like being really realigned, reborn in a sort of physical, mental state after a time when it could have been quite tough because he's a soldier. Here, instead, you're lying on your moon, on your new moon, with these feathers of blessing. So it feels as if it could be something astrological that started with the new moon with you, but there's a fresh newness with that new moon. So some astrological shift potentially, but certainly you've been resting after some quite onerous period, and it's been giving you these kind of white feathers of inspiration as you've rested. All of these are really lovely, relaxed energies. A potential outcome, we have the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Swords, two queens and two feisty queens. The two, I mean, they're all pretty strong, aren't they? And they're all in the heart. But the Queen of Swords doesn't mince her words. She is the truth teller. She's the Queen of Cups after she's sort of become too nice to everyone and suddenly switches into the sort of tougher queen. But here she's being seen really rather just as somebody who knows exactly what she wants and she knows how to get it, and far-sighted. And the Queen of Wands is very witchy, very intuitive, very positive. I love how there's always a sunflower in the depictions or in the Rider-Waite anyway, but here the sunflower is centre, very, very important. Her positivity, her ability to be manifesting positively is central to her character here. We don't see a little black witchy cat that normally she has, but she's very, very independent. Both of these are very independent energies. So it's waking up in your heart in the way that you relate to people through your heart. Some incredibly tough, independent energy, but also very creative with the Queen of Wands, very intelligent with the Queen of Swords, probably the most intelligent. So I'm wondering, back to this poetry analysis, or writer, sorry, not, I thought of Virginia Woolf, didn't I really? I'm wondering whether this could be with the Queen of Swords, you could be writing, and it could be a very unusual creative project. Maybe some people here are turning up to this and musing on a creative project that has been percolating and changing and being allowed to be quite unusual and allowed to have its own breathing space, and has given you and the whole reading is about unlocking a new perspective for it, with that Hanged Man, with that kind of background that I've got here. That could really be the case. Coming up in the near future, we have the Three of Wands. So you're going to set your sights even further. So she reminds me a little bit of the Queen of Swords here. You know, they're both looking out, aren't they? One with her telescope, which gives her extra sight. And I can't help but see, actually, suddenly, before we move on to the Three of Wands, I'm noticing the birds in both of these. There are birds all over the world that the Queen of Swords is sitting on. So it's something from this contemplation, from this change in perspective, that's starting to let you see further and with more clarity. I love that. One little bird sitting on her lap. So now, now you know what it is that you want with this Three of Wands. This is when you focus on exactly what you want and you're going to go and get it. So that's amazing. And I like her tentacles, her octopus tentacles. We were at dinner last night speaking a lot about octopuses and their amazing ability to have different personalities in their tentacles. They're such incredible beings. So it's a sort of otherworldly intelligence that's come to you, and that's now meaning that your creative life is being focused. You can see exactly what it is you want to bring in, which is lovely. It's starting to become stable for you. In your attitude, we've got the Eight of Wands. I think you really could be a writer, actually, because this is messaging, communication. It is also fast, very, very fast moving, but it's also goal-directed action that all goes in the same way. But so normally we have all these arrows. It's a strange card because it doesn't have any people on it normally, which is unusual. I think there's only two cards, that and the Three of Swords, that don't have anything kind of human or animal on it. Here you've got umbrellas that are allowing you to lift your sight up and fly in this beautiful wind towards something quite unusual and whimsical, I think. So it's more of the same energy of a different perspective. So rather than the arrows all focusing down towards an aim, which talks about communication that's very sort of clear, clarity, fast, lots of messaging, lots of writing. It can be a writer's card. Here, your imagination and all that you're creating is going up. It's giving you this new perspective again. The perspective of the Queen of Swords, the Three of Wands, slightly the Four of Swords that's sort of hanging around in the sky. They're all very imaginative perspectives. And it's almost as if you could be going into that sky that's being revealed in the Hangman. You could be finding a way to now, with clarity and with purpose and with speed, get into this new space. And it could be creatively. It's certainly imaginatively. If you're not a creative, it's as if something is being completely reborn in you. That's a very, very unusual new perspective. I really love it. In your environment, we have the Ten of Wands. It's the first energy that is a little bit challenging here. But it's also a beautiful depiction of it. So it might be that there's so many creative ideas floating around now that it's starting to be a bit burdensome. But it because she's broken with these beautiful flowers. Or is it that you're just feeling a bit work obsessed? If you're a writer, maybe, or a creative, maybe you can't really let go at the moment because you're on such a good seam. It's a jolly Ten of Wands, but we do need to be careful of burnout, and we need to be careful that we miss the main point, because we're so sort of bent down in that image, and usually it's all those staffs that you're holding, all those wands, that mean you might miss the village. So just make sure in your environment that you can gain some clarity, and that all these different aspects of your project don't become like the can't see the wood for the trees. you need to get up a bit. So your environment might be the one place that isn't allowing you that kind of aerial perspective. Something about your home or your work. It could literally be that you've got a cluttered desk and you need to clear it if you're a writer, or you need to clear other projects, sort of shut those down, whatever it is that you're doing at work, in order to focus on this one sort of creative seam. Or it just could be there are lots of demands at work, at home, that are making your aerial perspective, this new perspective, a little bit difficult. But they're quite jolly because they're all those flowers. But you do need to keep your eye on that Three of Wands who knew exactly what she wanted to go for, and like the Queen of Swords with her periscope, her telescope, you need to remember that you've got your eye on something. In your hopes and fears, yeah, you want to be like the Five of Wands. You want to get very strategic with all this competitive wandy energy. Normally this is children playing with their sticks, and it's fun, it's competitive, it's really in it to win it. Here there's a sort of meditative chess image of checkmate, as if what you want to do is be a bit strategic. And I think it might be around this the 10 of Wands, where things are becoming a bit overwhelming. I think you realise you've got something really, really good that's restarting in your life. It's probably around a creative idea. And you need to be strategic to make sure that you can win the space in order to fulfill it. But I like her meditative attitude and how large she is in this card. So it's not as if she's sort of really able to pick up and handle all of these competing elements. They could also be characters in a book, couldn't they? Yeah, Virginia Woolf. They could be characters in a book that she's moving around. That's really clear to me now. Yeah, it could be that you are a writer or a screenplay, doing a screenplay, or a producer of some sort, and you're just thinking about all these characters and getting them into the right order. I love it. So then, in your outcome, it's just wonderful. Again, another card for a writer, which is the Ace of Swords, and then the Fool. I think this new amazing clarity, so you've got the Ace of Swords and you've got the Queen of Swords. This is super intelligent, super incisive, very like writer-like energy. Can really indicate the writer. He's now, the new start has happened and he's got the key to it. And this new narrative path with all its drama of the crocodile and its youthful enthusiasm, with the crocodile's tail, yeah. The retelling of the tale has started again. I really do think there's something about writing here for you. And it's a wonderful project, and you've unlocked it now with the Ace of Swords, and you're on the path of the narrative, and it just looks so full of drama. I'm just going to put my glasses on quickly. It's so full of drama and interest and this fresh enthusiasm as the character, she's now looking totally like a heroine in a book, goes off. She's got her blue bird on her hand. So the Queen of Swords has a bird on her hand. And now we've got this one. She's off on her journey with her bird on her hand. Interested in that sort of smudged background just above the bird. Now all the flowers are everywhere in their order. Those flowers that you were carrying in the Ten of Wands, they've all sort of become ordered, and then it does look like a narrative path, doesn't it? With some peril at the bottom of it. But we always know there's a little bit of peril in the Fool, because the Fool's not bothered, he's just going to start anyway. And the Ace of Swords, look, the clarity, and there's the keyhole in his head. And he's got the key. He's unlocked this new idea. So if you're not a writer, you've unlocked your new reality. You've unlocked your new creative way of living. It's so beautiful, this reading. I'm going to put the card down, the microphone down for one moment while I just get a capped card. So give me 1 second. So I was asking, what else does this group of people who are here? So I'm going to call it Cancer and Cloud people, because we've got those beautiful sort of cartoon-like clouds. What else do they need to know? the Two of Cups, you found your partnership with this project, with this new way of being. Look at how happy these are. They're like old friends having a chinwag over some tea. Let's see what else I can see here. It's a bit like, it's not dissimilar to that, because there's a little bit of sky that's peeping out, isn't there, in both of them? And I think this project, this new way of being, really floats your boat. They look so happy. It's such a relaxed energy. They're drinking their tea. They're looking off at something that they're really admiring and loving. They're having a bit of a laugh. It feels like a very, very warm, inviting, nurturing environment. I think this new start represents that, something that you really love. Right, just one little charm, or however many charms come out of the bag, and then we'll close this out. It's an incredibly positive reading. I'm quite jealous. It's lovely. And here, just to clarify, we've got the book. I love it. It's a little book. Is it a gate or a book? It's a book. It's a storybook. That's amazing. Yeah, I think you're a writer. The book. If you're not a writer, I think you're writing a new narrative for yourself. It's like a totally new narrative has started to be written. It's got this other side here. So there's a sort of a kind of window on one side and something else on this. It looks like a really ancient, precious, beautiful miniature book to me. I think you're writing a new narrative, which is going to be so happy for you. And then the stag. The stag, that means the King of Pentacles to me quite often, because with the decks that I'm working with at the moment, with the mystical moments, there is the King of Pentacles who appears with stag antlers and coins in them. So that means security and a very sort of worthwhile project to me. But also various things come to mind. Leadership. I think of the white stag that is a kind of mystical creature that indicates great blessings from another realm. Leadership, definitely. And maturity, something really turning out into a very sort of powerful, gentle energy that can support you. I love your reading. It's absolutely wonderful. Congratulations. See you again.